Good morning, all of you. I'm Anil. So today's session we are going to discuss about boiler troubles. That is unit number 5, water technology, 2 by 5. That is the second session out of 5 sessions. So in this session, we are going to learn uh, about boiler troubles, like first one, priming and foaming. The second one, scale formation. Third one, boiler corrosion. And fourth one, caustic embrittlement. So these are the contents and objectives of today's session. And the outcomes of the today's session is student will able to understand about the boiler troubles, how it is formed, how can we solve those boiler troubles. Okay, let us entering into the introduction. Okay, before going to introduction, you just observe these pictures. Can you guess these pictures? Okay, right. So these are the pictures of boilers that are used in industrial purpose to water is converted to water vapor, that is steam. So in large scale, the water is converting into water vapor. That water vapor will be used in different purpose. So in order to conversion water into water vapor, this type of boilers may be used in large scale industry or small scale industry. So so boilers that are large scale water convert into water steam. So if you carefully observe, all these boilers are made up of metals. Remember this point. Okay. So while using boilers for conversion of water into water steam, there are some problems may be arise. Those problems we can call upon boiler troubles. So those boiler troubles are four types we already mentioned in objectives. The first one is priming and foaming. So priming and foaming. So priming, first one. So priming is the phenomena of carried out droplets carried out droplets of water with steam in boilers. So this is called as priming. So here what actually happened, so we are boiling water, that means the water is converting into steam. So here some of the water droplets carried out along with the steam, this phenomena is called as priming. So why? Because the rapid and violent boiling of inside the boiler, the water particles mixed with the steam, the passed out from the boiler. So this process is also called as wet steam generation. This is called as priming. So how it is happen? So these are the general reasons for priming formation. The presence of large amount of dissolved solids. The first one, high steam velocities and high water level in boilers, sudden boiling and improper boiler design, sudden increase the steam production rate. So these are the general causes to carry out water droplets along with steam. So if you carefully observe this picture, so this is the water that is converting into steam and in a header. So while water is converting into steam, some of the droplets may be carried out along with steam. So this phenomena is called as a priming. Okay, so how can we prevent the priming? So generally, what are the reasons we discussed to formation of the framing? You go for the resolving, like fitting mechanical impurities. Second one is avoiding rapid change in steam rate, maintain low water levels in boiler. So generally proper designs and effective softening and filtration of boiler fluids. So these are the general prevention method to reduce the framing. Okay, and next one is foaming. Foaming is completely different. The foaming is completely different from priming. So the foaming is the phenomena of formation of foam or bubbles on the surface of the water inside the boiler. So if you take a boiler, in the boiler we are converting water into water steam. So in the surface of the water, while boiling of the water, in the surface of the water sometimes maybe form a foam or a bubbles. This is called as a foaming. The presence of large quantity of suspended impurities and oils or lower the surface tension may produce this type of foam. So if you can carefully observe, this picture maybe I will explain how the foam is formed on the surface of the water. So if you look at this picture, so this is the bubbles or foam formed on the surface of the water. So these bubbles or foam carried out along with the steam. So sometimes this may be also causes for some troubles. That's why this is also called as one of the boiler trouble. So what are the causes for foaming? So the first one is the presence of oils or greases in water. That is the first one. The presence of fine sludges particles or suspended matter in a high concentration. These are the two causes for forming foaming. And how can we prevent the foaming? So addition of anti-foaming chemicals like cluster oils are removing oils from boilers, water by adding compound like sodium aluminate, and blow down operations. So generally we take this type of measurement in order to prevent the foaming in the boilers. Okay, this is about priming and foaming. This is the one of the boiler trouble. And the second one is scale formation. So this is completely different from priming and foaming. So here the scale formation, that means uh, because of the continuous evaporation of the water, the concentration of the water salts maybe increases progressively, and after the saturation point is reached, precipitate form on their inner walls of the boiler. That is called one of the problem. So this may be again classified into two types. That is the that precipitate what we observe in inner walls of the boiler, that precipitate may be formed sometimes loose or soft. So suppose this precipitate form in a boiler loose or soft manner, that may be causes sludges, or sometimes it may be form hard and adherent coating on the inner walls of the boiler, which is called as a scale. So in and around we just easily remember, the inner walls of the boiler may be loose precipitate is called as a sludge, or hard precipitate is called as a scale. So in our syllabus we discuss only how the scales is formed. Okay, let us understand the difference between the sludge and scale. So already told that sludge is a loose and soft because of the formation of magnesium carbonate or magnesium chloride or calcium chloride or magnesium sulfate in high temperature, which may be convert water into water steam. If suppose water having this type of contaminates, so these chemicals may be formed loose, smooth, soft in inner walls of the boilers. So this type of is called as sludge. Whereas scales are formed in a hard manner. If you carefully observe, so this black color round, which is a hard nature adjacent coating, which is formed inner walls of the boiler. So how it is from? Suppose the water having calcium bicarbonate as a contaminant, so that is also called as temporary hardness. If suppose the water having temporary hardness, that means calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate. If suppose if you heat those water, so that may be convert calcium chloride and water and carbon dioxide. This calcium chloride, or sorry, not calcium chloride, calcium carbonate. So this calcium carbonate, which is formed hard on the inner walls of the boilers. So this is called as scale. Likewise, magnesium chloride so react with the water to form magnesium hydroxide. This is also one of the scale which is formed in inner walls of the boiler. So that's all about uh, scales and sludges. And the third problem is boiler corrosion. This is the most important point important point in boiler troubles. I already told that one point previously. Boilers are made up of metals, right? So the metal may be undergo by the corrosion, maybe undergo by the chemical or electrochemical attack. So here the boiler corrosion may be defined as degradation or destruction of boiler metals, that is iron, due to the chemical or electrochemical attack of the dissolved gases or salts is called as boiler corrosion. That means if the water which is converted to steam, the water contains this type of dissolved gases or salts, maybe causes boiler corrosion, that maybe causes the metal destruction of the boiler. So the boiler corrosion may be three types again. So these are the corrosion due to the dissolved gas, that is the first one, and second one is corrosion due to dissolved carbon dioxide, and corrosion due to the acid found by the dissolved salts. That means the boilers are affected by the corrosion, maybe these three types. Suppose the water having highest dissolved oxygen, so sometimes the highest dissolved oxygen contents also causes for boiler corrosion. And if suppose the water having dissolved carbon dioxide, that is also causes for boiler corrosion. And also acids and dissolved salt, these are also causes for boiler corrosion. Let us understand one by one. So corrosion due to the dissolved oxygen. So right, so this is a metal Fe that is in a boiler. So the water which we are going to steam convert to steam, so this is the oxygen that is also called as DO, dissolved oxygen in the water. So when we react all these three, maybe forms ferrous hydroxide. So the ferrous hydroxide in the presence of again react with the water oxygen to forms ferric oxide, that is also called as rust. So that means the total iron may be going to degradation or destruction. So due to the dissolved oxygen, the iron may be converting into rust. So this is the one of the type of boiler corrosion. And how we can remove this dissolved oxygen? Okay, that means how we can retard corrosion caused by dissolved oxygen. That means what? Here main what you can say, main corrosion is caused by dissolved oxygen. Suppose if you remove the dissolved oxygen present in the water, so that we can easily um, retard or prevent by the causes which is caused by boiler trouble which is caused by dissolved oxygen. So here you take a sodium sulfite. The sodium sulfite, if you mix it into the water, that may be react with the dissolved oxygen to form sodium sulfate. The sodium sulfate may be again react with form sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate. And next one, hydrogen N2H4 maybe react with oxygen to forms nitrogen and water. So that means what? Here the oxygen is completely absorbed by the sodium sulfide that is converting into sodium sulfate, so that the dissolved oxygen may be reduced, and we can retard boiler corrosion which is caused by dissolved oxygen. And the next one is corrosion due to the dissolved carbon dioxide. this is the most important thing. How we can get carbon dioxide in the water? So we already know, if the water having bicarbonate hardness, that is calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate hardness, that is also called as temporary hardness. If suppose the magnesium bicarbonate may be boiled, converting into magnesium carbonate plus water, and carbon dioxide is released. So this carbon dioxide again react with water to forms carbonic acid, H2CO3. This carbonic acid may be split into H plus plus CO3 2 minus. So the H plus means acid. So this is also causes for corrosion. Okay, right. And the third one is corrosion due to dissolved salts. So corrosion due to dissolved salts. Suppose uh, if the water having magnesium chloride, so react with the water, okay, to forms magnesium hydroxide. It is also one of the scale we already discussed in above, and releases HCl. So this HCl react with the metal, that is called iron, to forms ferrous chloride, and H2 is released, and the ferrous chloride is react with water to forms ferrous hydroxide, and the ferrous hydroxide again react with what to form ferric oxide, that is called as rust. So the total means the iron may be going to degrade, that is formation of the corrosion. So this is the corrosion which is found dissolved salts, that is called as magnesium chloride. So these are the three types of the boiler corrosion. And last one is caustic embrittlement. This is also one of the boiler corrosion type, but here the corrosion is caused by caustic soda. So the caustic embrittlement is the phenomena during which the boiler material becomes a brittle due to accumulate of caustic soda, that is sodium hydroxide. That means here embrittlement means the small cracks maybe happen on the boilers, so that is called as cast embrittlement. So this is caused by caustic soda, that is why here the caustic embrittlement. So embrittlement means the small cracks which is formed on the boiler, so caused by caustic soda, so that is why it is a caustic embrittlement. So how it is happened, I mean the caustic soda, how the formed in boilers. So if suppose sodium carbonate as a contaminated present in the water, it is react with water to forms sodium hydroxide and releases carbon dioxide. So this becomes a caustic. So vapor caustic soda concentrate increases, so it is attacked on the boiler machines, so maybe causes some parts or stress. Generally the caustic soda which is impacting on bends and joints of the boiler tubes or boiler materials or boiler etc etc things which is used in a boiler, uh, that is convert water is converting into vapor. So majorly it is impacting on joints and bends, so that the penetration of the sodium hydroxide may be high, which causes embrittlement. So this is called as a caustic embrittlement. And how we can prevent the caustic embrittlement? The first one is, mm, definitely maintain the pH value of the water, so neutralize of the alkali. So how can we neutralize? So sodium hydroxide is a base, so in order to neutralize we need to mix acid, that's it, so that we can maintain the pH level, so that we can avoid the caustic embrittlement. And by using sodium phosphate as a softening agents, so in external treatment of the boiler, sodium phosphate also one of the used as a softening reagent in external treatment of the boilers. And the third one is caustic embrittlement can be also prevented by addition of tannin or lignin or sodium sulfate, which is prevent the infiltration of the caustic soda solution, blocking their hair cracks. So this is also one of the best method to prevent the caustic embrittlement. So these are the 4 boiler troubles. Okay, and take it out assignment. So how can you differentiate priming and foaming? If you can understand priming and foaming, how can you differentiate? And the next one is write a brief notes on boiler corrosion and how can you understand caustic embrittlement. So these are the these are the session assignment. Thanking you.